In the year 2001, four nations united and formed an economic alliance with the mission to dominate the global economy by the year 2050. In a move that's best described by many as audacious and ambitious, Brazil, Russia, India, and China decided to form a coalition that will unite their economies to become a world economic power. Not long after, South Africa also joined the coalition, which is now known globally as BRICS. In the earlier stages, the United States didn't pay much attention to this alliance and may have even underrated how much influence they could have as regards to the global economy and its policies. However, with the recent developments, the United States is now making certain strategies to mitigate the growing influence of the BRICS. A recent move by Saudi Arabia to join BRICS may pose a danger to the U.S. economy, and the trade war between U.S. and China is also a growing concern. The question on the minds of many is Saudi Arabia planning to join BRICS? Are they stepping back from their oil security deal with the United States? And how is China's move to de-dollarize its economy going to affect the United States? I know you've got questions, and I've got answers for you too. But before we go on, please like and subscribe to this channel to get more amazing videos like this one. Are you ready? So let's dive in. In recent years, there's been rapid growth and expansion of the influence of BRICS as other nations are increasingly indicating their interest to join the alliance. Argentina has already applied for membership, and Iran has also declared it will soon be seeking membership. Now the issue is, as many other countries are seeking to join the alliance, it's gradually breaking the United States-dominated economic system as these nations are now choosing to adopt an Asian-centric alternative. As the leadership of BRICS is being transferred to China this year, there's an ongoing aggressive campaign to expand the bloc, and it gets more interesting as Saudi Arabia has indicated an interest in joining BRICS. Does this spell doom for the US economy? Most likely. Recall that the US and Saudi Arabia have enjoyed both political and economic alliances. For over 30 years, Saudi Arabia has been an ally of the United States both in economy and military operations, allowing America to stage military operations from the country like the Desert Storm in 1991 and Iraqi Freedom in 2003. It's clear that Saudi Arabia and Iran are the two major players in the Middle East, and both countries are doctrinally and politically opposite. So Saudi Arabia's interest in joining BRICS marks a profound shift in Middle East politics, one that the United States may not be so happy about. And while we may say that the relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia is one of the most important on the planet, recent developments may be threatening it. In July, Joe Biden traveled to Saudi Arabia, where he met with the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Prior to his election into the office, Biden had promised to make Saudi Arabia a pariah for its human rights abuses, as well as its 7-year-long war on Yemen, but in the face of current reality, amidst the current Russia and Ukraine crisis and the global energy problem, there's been some new resolution. With the current energy crisis caused by sanctions imposed on Russia, Biden needed the Saudis to increase oil production in order to lower gasoline prices for American consumers. Biden had to compromise on his initial stand and also humble himself to treat the Crown Prince as the world leader he aspires to be. But while this visitation may have been very important, it doesn't go as planned. Earlier this year, at the peak of the Russian-Ukrainian crisis, Biden had released an unprecedented amount of emergency oil reserves from the U.S.'s Strategic Petroleum Reserve. This led to the Saudis and their allies to believe that the U.S. government is manipulating the market. Speaking at the Future Investment Initiative, Saudi Energy Minister Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman criticized the U.S. government. People are depleting their emergency stocks, had depleted it, used it as a mechanism to manipulate markets, while its profound purpose was to mitigate a shortage of supply, Prince Abdulaziz said during the conference held in Saudi Arabia. However, it's my profound duty to make it clear to the world that losing emergency stock may become painful in the months to come. And, as a consequence, a few months after the visit, the Saudi-led OPEC Plus energy cartel agreed to cut oil production by 2 million barrels a day, which meant higher fuel prices this winter. Although the United States invested a lot of political capital in a bid to dissuade Saudi Arabia and its allies from cutting production, Biden's wooing of Prince Mohammed yielded nothing but a 2% reduction of the world's oil supply. In fact, It seems that the prince has inflicted political damage on the Biden administration, as this is coming up just months before the midterm election. And while this may seem like trouble, there are other bigger troubles looming. In recent times, Saudi Arabia's relationship with China has deepened into a strategic partnership. Over the years, Saudi Arabia has become China's largest trading partner in the Middle East and North Africa, and also China's top global supplier of crude oil. This economic alliance with China may likely have a consequence on the bilateral relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia. In 2021, China took 27% of Saudi Arabia's total crude oil exports. China is also the largest trading partner for Saudi Arabia's chemical industry and takes almost a quarter of the kingdom's exports from the sector. 95% of China's 2021 imports from the kingdom consisted of petroleum oils, plastics, and organic chemicals. In 2021, the annual bilateral trade volume between Saudi Arabia and China was worth $87.31 billion. Also, Saudi Arabia has also been the largest regional recipient of Chinese contracting and investment, reaching a total of $43.5 billion between 2005 and 2021. Also, Saudi Arabia is planning on investing about $35 billion in China-based projects. The scope of the China-Saudi Corporation has expanded over the years from just energy and gases to investments in infrastructure, communications, high-tech industry, finance, transport, renewable and nuclear energy, and also arms production. While this relationship with China blossoms, Saudi Arabia's recent interest in joining BRICS is a clear sign of trouble for the U.S. economy. Saudi Arabia's interest in joining BRICS may be a result of its recent diplomatic spat with the United States as regards to oil production. While the United States is still aggravated by Saudi Arabia's move to slash oil production volume, Saudi officials have made it clear that they will not take any orders from the United States. Given the U.S. domestic turmoil and the instability of the country's policies, Saudi Arabia's move to join BRICS is quite strategic, as this will protect its energy interests in a good way and ensure that they're not just a pawn in the hands of the United States. The eventual admission of Saudi Arabia to BRICS will significantly promote the interest of other Middle Eastern countries. It will help strengthen their ties with BRICS countries and weaken the control and influence of the United States in the area. Li Xiaoshen, director of the China Institute for Arab Studies at Ningxia University, stated that the existing oil for security framework between the United States and Saudi Arabia needs to be adjusted in light of the current changing international situation. At the moment, the Middle East's global status is very imperative because currently Europe needs them for energy. Russia also holds a strategic military alliance with them, and China has good ties with them as they collaborate to ensure the success of its Belt and Road Initiative. This makes the alliance more beneficial to the Saudis, who don't feel equality and mutual respect in their relationship with the United States. Reacting to this, some aggrieved U.S. Democratic lawmakers have recently called for legislation that would immediately halt all arms sales to Saudi Arabia for 1 year. U.S. Senator Chris Murphy, a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, has asked the United States to suspend the sale of Patriot missiles to Saudi Arabia and redivert these missiles to Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin has also stated that Russia is exploring the possibility of creating an international reserve currency based on the basket of BRICS currencies. Many countries are currently frustrated with the United States and its dominant use of the dollar and stipulating rules in a bid to ensure global trade and economic dominance. As a result of this, more and more countries are willing to break out from the United States and adopt another alternative. Deputy Prime Minister of Russia, Alexander Novak, stated that China and Russia have been promoting settlements in their national currencies other than the US dollar, and clearly, Saudi Arabia, with a large sovereign wealth fund in the United States, would clearly speed up the decline of the petrodollar if it joins BRICS, and this will definitely be a huge blow to the US economy and its efforts towards hegemony. Do you think the efforts of the China-led BRICS will disrupt US trade relations with other countries? Do you agree that Saudi Arabia's move to join BRICS is a threat to US economic power? Do share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section down below. Also, don't forget to like this video as well as share it with your friends and family. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you again next time.